Good morning, everybody. My name is Brian Cahill. I'm the marketing director at Shore Medical Center. I also happen to sit on the board of the Summers Point Business Association, and I'm happy to fill in for Ann this morning. We have new members of our business association, so I'd like to talk a little bit about that. We have business association. We have about 100 members. We focus on Summers Point businesses, but not just Summers Point. We focus on everybody who services our area, and every time we have a new business, I get a little note and say, Brian, put this on Facebook. Let's get some publicity for our new members. And I get this email. They said, we have a new member, Protocol Hotel, and they're in Ocean City. And I'm, certainly most of you listening and myself, we've seen the Protocol. I have never been there. But I did a little learning about it, and what a great facility they have there. Tons of everything's been renovated, beautiful place. But what really caught my eye was on the website. I was looking at pictures of their dining establishment called Adelene, and one look at this picture, and I'm like, well, listen, I do love my job, but I'm like, you know what? I'd like to leave work and go hang out in Adelene and look at the beach and the ocean. It's just absolutely, absolutely stunning. So I've asked the food and beverage manager from the Protocol to come in, and also we are really excited to have the chef of Adelene with us today. So I'm going to welcome to the show Kay Afifi, your food and beverage manager. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So just
nice to be here.
Well, you say nice to be here. You don't even know what we're going to do in the next hour. I hope it's nice to be here. And then we have Chef Rich Koch. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
It's funny. I have a privilege of filling in for hosts. I filled in actually for Ann on Monday, and I typically walk into the studio, meet the guests. We have a little chat, and these guys, it wasn't just meeting the two of them. They had this box of food, and I'm like. Said, oh my God, I'm making me so hungry here at 10 in the morning. So we have a number of dishes here in the studio that we'll have both Kay and Rich talk about, give you a little flavor of what the restaurant's all about, and really talk about and celebrate what one of our new Summers Point Business Association members is up to. So, Kay, I'll start with you first. Why don't you give us a little bit about your background because you've done some cool stuff in the hotel beverage industry in your day, and how you got to Adeline and to Protocol.
Sure. Yes. Basically, I grew up in Pennsylvania, and I worked in the restaurant business. So it was bussing tables. Became a waiter. And, I said, well, they're opening the casinos, so you can tell it's a few years ago.
Yeah.
So I went for hotel restaurant management to Penn State. And once I graduated, I moved down the shore. And my first job was at the Claridge. And back then it was a casino, had restaurants, etc. And I was there for a few years and basically did numbers and a lot of things. And then went to Bally's Grand. And at the time, it was one of the places. It was, Bally's purchased it from the Nugget. And we had all really nice high-end gourmet restaurants, Italian room, steakhouse. We had a brunch. We had a buffet, coffee shop, you name it, room service. I was there for about 7 years. And then I moved to the Trump, at the time, Trump Castle. And it was there for a couple years.
So that's the marina. Like, a lot of listeners will remember Trump Castle, but that became the marina, and then it became the Golden Nugget.
Yeah, So it's the Nugget now. Great property, with the marina there, etc. And was there for a couple years, and then went to the Ton Tavern at the time. It was, it still is there. All the convention business. We had convention. We had local business. And was real good for quite a while. It was a brewery, so we had, homemade beer.
Hey, I want to ask you a question. I know we're here to talk about Protocol, right? And we're here to talk about Adeline, but I can't help but ask. Ton Tavern, right? You worked there. What was it? What was that experience like? Because Atlantic City, 24/7 town.
Yeah.
And I remember Listen, I remember being at a bachelor party myself. It was like very, very, very late at night, early in the morning. Mm-hmm. What was your schedule like there? Because tons served like till the sun came up, basically. So what was your schedule like there?
It was definitely, we had a wide variety of things. We actually did room service in the Sheraton, etc. So it was depending on the business. Sometimes you do 2,000 covers when you had the boat show, or other times it would be, we'd have locals, etc. But it was, 6 days a week, that kind of thing. And it was, a lot of hours, but it was great. It was a lot of fun. It's such a wide variety because of different shows. So you'd have boaters. Then next week you have art show people. Then, so it was a lot of fun. So it was good.
Yeah. And from my personal experience, when I was in college, I was a busboy. That's what I started out, busboy. Then I did bar back, and then I worked myself into the kitchen eventually. And I also was a server. How important is it for you to have started at that capacity? How has that helped you in your management role going forward?
Yeah, I think it's really important because you really understand what people go through in different positions. People that don't understand, haven't been in the restaurant business, don't really, understand what people go through on their daily. So it's much easier to manage them because you understand, you first of all have done the tasks and you understand what they go through. So I think it's helpful if you've been in the business before to manage.
So people working for you are very fortunate because they have somebody who was in the trenches themselves and can empathize with some of the situations they come across. I actually
started as a dishwasher.
Wow. Okay.
When I was 16 at Booker's Seafood, it's not there anymore. That was in Ocean City because we had a summer place that would come down a lot. But after that, I worked at the Ram's Head. I did that for a good number of years, like 8 years, and that was great. We had, it was fine dining, and we had a lot of weddings and special events, and then we had fine dining. So it was really that was a good spot. After that, believe it or not, I was over at Harrah's, and I opened McCormick and Schmick restaurant. I was there for a few years, and that was really good. Real nice corporate restaurant. They had 110 locations at the time. They're now owned by the Nugget, Golden Nugget. So I was there for a few years, and then was at the Amada restaurant at the Ocean. Was there for a few years, which was a great experience. And then now I'm at the Portico. Really happy to be there. It's a 98-room hotel. It's Adelene restaurant. It's right on the ocean, so you get a panoramic view of the beach and the water. We just recently redid all the rooms, beautiful rooms. You can't imagine the view. We have ocean view rooms. We have coastline rooms, which you get a little bit of the ocean view, and then you get the coastline. And we have Bayview rooms, too. So beautiful hotel. And we also do special events, and we are open for breakfast and lunch. Currently, we're closed on Monday and Tuesday, but, in May, we'll be going to 7 days a week. And we do breakfast from 7:30 to 11:30, and then lunch from noon to 2. And then in the season, we'll be opening a cabana outside also. So we'll have, healthy smoothies and salads and sandwiches and like a coffee bar. So that'll be open till like 5 in the afternoon. And then also during the season, between Memorial Day and Labor Day, we do Epicurean Club dinners. So basically, it's a gourmet dinner. We take reservation. It's linen. It's real upscale service. And, we're open Friday and Saturday nights from 5 until 9 p.m. A reservation, so you don't have to go wait at a different restaurant offshore for a table or anything and make a reservation. Come in. Beautiful panoramic view, and we give a real upscale service. So that we do that during the summer.
Okay, and from listening to all your experience, you've got it at all different levels, and then you're able to bring all that experience to bring the breakfast experience, the lunch experience, and then the very high end dining experience. Yeah,
and we also do a lot of special events. So we do breakfasts, we'll do lunches, we'll do weddings. It's not a huge venue. But we do medium-sized weddings, and we have meeting rooms, etc. So we have a wide variety of products, and it's a busy operation. It's good.
So you're busy, but the person next to you, if you're coming up with all of these concepts, and you and your team are coming up with these concepts, you have to have somebody running your kitchen, right? Who
Yeah.
can keep up with all these things and be as creative.
Yeah, Chef Rich is one of the best chefs I've worked with. Quality food is just unbelievable, and it's a really easy guy to work with. So I'm really happy to be there, working with him.
Yeah. All right. So you want to go? You want to go by Rich? You want to go by Chef? Chef Cope? Is it just Chef?
Chef or Rich? I prefer Rich.
We'll go with Rich, but certainly just from our quick chat outside, top-notch chef. I'd like to have you give a little bit of your experience in the kitchen, and kind of take us to where you are today at Adelene.
Okay. Well, I grew up in Finger Lakes region in upstate New York, so I grew up on a farm. I've been around food my whole entire life. When I graduated from high school, kicked around, didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I kept hearing this ad for culinary school on the radio when I was driving people to work way back in the 80s, but way before Uber. And
when you actually had to drive your own car.
Yeah. So I would drive people to work, and I would keep hearing this ad for culinary school. So I'm like, it's been, I don't know how many times I've heard this. Maybe this is a sign I need to check this out. And so I did, and here I am.
So where'd you go to school?
I went to school in Baltimore International Culinary College. It's no longer there. I'm not really sure. It was bought out by several colleges and changed around. But when I was there, it was in downtown Baltimore, all over the city. So one building would be here, and you'd have to walk 10 blocks to the next building to get all the classes where the buildings could hold enough students and have big enough kitchens to do stuff in. And so after culinary school, I traveled with the Culinary Olympic team in Ireland and kicked around there for 3 or 4 months.
So, I was going to say, I don't mean to interrupt you, but if I didn't mean it, I wouldn't have done it, right? So I know I did. What is Culinary Olympic experience? Talk about that. That's not something you hear every day.
So I was in Ireland and working in a hotel, Deer Park Lodge in Virginia, County Cavan, Ireland. And the Culinary Olympic team, the chef that I worked for was a member of the Culinary Olympic team. And so he would, on the weekends, all the chefs would come. We'd work in the kitchen, figure out what they were going to make, and then we would travel all over Ireland and do shows. So I got to do shows in the north of Ireland. And back then, it was the IRA, the military. And we went to Armagh, the city Armagh. And we're doing a small little show, 230 people, for the Italian ambassador to Northern Ireland. And we got there a few hours early. Well, back up a second. We get to the border of the Republic of Ireland and the Northern Ireland. And it was like being in a Russian, back in the 80s, the Cold War going on. There was cameras outside looking in on our bus, like the cameras were moving around, looking at us, zooming in, zooming out. And then the soldiers came on the bus, checking our papers, documents, and everything. And they've got machine guns and the coats, the wool coats down to their ankles practically. It was like, what the heck did I where am I going?
How did I end up here?
Yeah. So we make it across the border and we go into town because we're there a few hours early. And so, of course, the chef's taking everybody to the bar where we're going to, a pub, which is different than a bar here. So we go into the pub, and it's a long, skinny bar. And there was probably 25, 30, 40 seats, and it seemed like forever. It was stretched out. And everybody's head turned and looked at all of us at the door. And said a few words in Gaelic, I'm guessing, and choice words, and slammed their drinks, chugged their drinks, slammed the glass on the bar, and all stood up at the same time, walked out, one by one, staring at us. and they were not happy that we interrupted their drinking. And
what time of day is this?
This is middle of afternoon,
Yeah, right.
Maybe 1, 2 o'clock, I don't know. And we're like, what's going on? And so we get up to the bar, and we're like, are you closed, or just wondered what's going on? And bartender said, oh, don't worry about them. They'll be right back. 10 minutes, they'll be back when they figure out that you aren't blowing the place up. And sure enough, they came back in one after another, back to their seats where they were sitting, and resumed their drinking.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so that was exciting.
Hey, thanks for sharing that. Yeah,
it was just unbelievable. This is crazy. But so that's one memory. But I worked. I came back from Ireland and worked at one of the first microbreweries back in the early 90s, Lancaster Malt Brewing Company, it was called then. They had just opened. I wanted to own my own brewery because in culinary school, I used to brew beer, and then I would sell it to all my friends at the culinary school out of my trunk in the Baltimore City police garage, because that's where we had to park. So I was doing all kinds of stuff.
Right in the police garage.
Right in the police garage, and they didn't have cameras like.
Well, you got to pay. You got to pay the tuition somehow.
Yeah, right. So I wanted to own a brewery, so I figured, what better thing to do than to work in a brewery right after culinary school. So I did that for a few years. That was an awesome job. I was a chef for a corporation that had like a couple of Mexican restaurants and American bar, pubs, taverns. I think they owned a bunch of different styles and I was the head of all those places. And then I went to work. I wanted to get back to cooking fine dining. I'm classically trained in French cuisine. So I wanted to get back to that, and I worked for
Why did you choose French cuisine as your? It's like your specialty that you choose, right?
Pretty much everything is based off of like European and Western cooking is based off of French cooking. So the French were meticulous about writing everything down. One ingredient changed the dish to a different dish. So everything was very specific. If you said you were making Mornay sauce, it had to have cheese in it. It had to have this in it to make sure that it was technically correct. There were sticklers for that. So I wanted to learn all of the things I could possibly learn, because everything else is based off of French cooking. So all the sauces, there's Beth V is the mother sauces. So there's bechamel, Espagnole sauce, tomato sauce, hollandaise, and velouté, which is a white, pretty mellow sauce. And then you add ingredients, and you get a family tree of different sauces from each one of those sauces. And there's thousands. So that's why I chose French cuisine, because there's so many recipes and so many different things that you almost have to, you can't like sit there and look in a book. You have to almost memorize as many as you can there's 100 eggs omelets that you could do easily. There's more than that. So there's all kinds of different crazy stuff.
My name is Brian Cahill, filling in for Ann Baker this morning. In studio with me is Afifi, food and beverage manager over at Adelene at Portical, the hotel right on the boardwalk in Ocean City. And joining Kay and myself in the studio is Chef Rich Cope from Adelene, hearing a lot about his training. How long does it take you to become classically trained in French cuisine? Because you said possibly thousands of combinations.
Right.
It's not something you're learning in a week.
So when I was in Ireland, traveling with the culinary Olympic team, they said, you'll know when you're a chef when you can taste all the ingredients that you put together in your head. You'll know exactly what it's going to taste like.
Wow.
That's when you become a chef. And I'm like, there is no way I am ever going to be able to do that, right? So I really focused on that and tried to understand, what are they talking about? And one day I was at the French, working at the French restaurant in near Hershey, Pennsylvania, and it dawned on me. I was making specials for the day, and I was like, well, if I put this together and this together, it's going to taste like that. And so I put it together, and it tasted exactly like I thought it was going to taste in my head. And I was like, oh my gosh, you can do this. This is possible. Yeah. You just have to know each ingredient. So if you know whatever ingredients you have in front of you, you can do pretty much anything.
All right. Brian, my name is Brian Cahill, filling in for Ann this morning. I just got the sign. We're going to hit the break, and then we'll come back with Chef Rich. So John and I are sharing the studio with Kay Afifi. He's the food and beverage manager for Adelene at Portugal, and we are with Chef Rich Cope. You gentlemen bought some incredible dishes here. I do want to get into some description, but let's start with your marketing person did a wonderful job sending me information. You have an Easter brunch coming up, so I'd like you to, and we'll let Kay talk about this. Talk about the Easter brunch, what people expect, cost, and experience.
Sure. Yeah, it's good. Of course, it's on Easter, March 31st. We're basically serving from 9 in the morning, and last seating's at 1:45 p.m. We do take walk-ins, but reservations are recommended. And we'll have a beautiful buffet of food out, including muffins, croissants, pastries, eggs Benedict, of course, bacon and sausage. The chef is going to prepare some real nice prime rib. And we have fresh salmon, Maryland crab ravioli. And we'll be serving our signature blue crab and corn chowder. And basically, you get the table for as long as you like. We do have large tables available if you have a party of 12, etc. For the brunch. And we have a really, beautiful buffet setup, and then a spectacular view of the beach and of the ocean. So, we do this every year. And it's a really nice event, I think.
So the Adeline at Portugal brunch, if you are interested, you could call for reservations, 609-399-8812, and you can press extension 7362. You can see the complete menu at their website, portocallhotel.com. Price for the brunch is a very competitive price. So adults, you're just under $50, right? $49.90. Mm-hmm. Who came up with this $49.95 pricing? Why not $99, right? Is that your way of? Is that a marketing tool?
It's been that way, so it seems to work. I do go between. Should we make it even? Should we make it? I think 99 sounds a little, like too close to the other number. I got you. So we do 95. That's the way it's been. So I've just been running with it. Seems successful.
Yeah, I'm just playing around. So
but that is controversial. Is it? Do you make it even? Do you make it 50? Do you?
All different philosophies, right?
Yeah.
So adults $49.95 for the buffet. Children 4 to 11 are $25.95, and then children 3 and under are free. So really, it's priced to be a complete family experience.
Yes, yeah, and we do have many families that bring their children, and we do have a lot of these items on for our on our breakfast and lunch menu also.
So, Chef Rich, the menu itself, are you the one who develops the menu? Do you do it in coordination with Kay? How does the brunch menu come to be?
We usually have manager meetings usually on a Friday, and we try to all talk about it and give what we think would be good. And so instead of just maybe the two of us doing it, we try to share with Marilyn, the marketing director, Glenn, the GM, Stephanie at the front desk, Steve, the maintenance engineer, and Colleen, the executive housekeeper. We all get together and have meetings about numerous things, but we always include them in what we're going to do and try to get their feedback, because they're people, they eat. So, we want to know what everybody likes to eat and doesn't like to eat. So, it's just not us, and I don't rule with the iron fist.
Gotcha.
I have to have this, It's what people like. I mean, that's why we cook and work, because we want people to be happy and enjoy all the food they're eating.
So when you're coming up with a menu, so I've seen, and Kay actually said his signature blue crab corn chowder, and then you have Maryland crab ravioli.
Yes.
So I am not a food connoisseur in any way, and I'm looking at this going, well, wait a second. You got two different crab dishes, but
Right.
two types of crab. Can you talk about why?
Sure.
Why the distinction and why you chose that?
Yeah, the blue crab is really the crab that's in the Chesapeake Bay. They're blue before they get cooked up, then they turn the bright red. I use the term blue crab just so people know that it's not imitation crab, or it's not Dungeness crab, or it's not a different kind. It's a specific kind to the East Coast. I mean, it's in other areas as well, but here we're used to blue crab being, if I go in and get crab soup, that's what I expect, unless it says, king crab, which it would never. I mean, that's just too expensive to make into a soup like that.
Yeah.
Dungeness crab is very popular on the West Coast, so I just like people to know when they're looking at the menu, so they have a better idea before they get it, so they're not disappointed. If they're excited about a certain thing and then it's not exactly what they thought it was, it's not fun. We want everything to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and the Maryland crab ravioli is just. When you say Maryland crab, it's more of the seasoning, the style, the way you season the crab. So it's always, of course, got to have a little spice like Old Bay. There's a couple of different kinds of spice mixes that are traditional to Baltimore. So that's why I say Maryland crab raviolis, because I saute the ravioli with a little bit of butter, shallots, and corn, and then sprinkle in just a little bit of Old Bay just to give it a nice hint of Maryland crab. If you're eating the Maryland crab soup in Maryland, you would recognize it really quickly. So,
let me ask you a question. So I'm looking at this ravioli. So 2 nights ago, I come home, I tell my wife, I said, I'm going to make you some ravioli for dinner. Ravioli fell apart like you wouldn't believe. I get it out of the pot. Half of the cheese is spilling all over the place. And a nice gesture turned into a mockery of Brian in the kitchen.
Right.
Why does that happen? And how do I prevent that from happening going forward?
Sure. Yeah. You probably want to use egg wash or water around the edges, and then crimp it with they have nice little wheel rollers that you can crimp the edges, or just a fork. You don't have to go out and buy a special tool. You can just use what you have in your kitchen, and it's really easy to make if you take a few minutes. I know no one has time to do anything anymore, so it's a little bit of a process. But that's why you can come to us. It's already made for you.
Come eat your Maryland crab ravioli.
Or get it to go.
Get it to go. So again, my name is Brian Cahill. I'm with the Summers Point Business Association. In studio with one of our newest members, Adelene, at Porter Call, a beautiful hotel and wonderful restaurant. We're with Food and Beverage Manager Kay Afifi and Chef Rich Cope. So they have their Easter brunch on March 31st, 9 to 2. But Kay, you have your breakfast and lunch, which just started up again last Friday, right?
Yeah, March 1st.
March 1st. Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about let's do the breakfast experience. And I'm looking in studio. You've got this cup of granola.
Yes. Yeah.
So talk a little bit about how that who makes that? Where does it come from? And then your breakfast
Chef
okay.
Rich talk about the product.
Well, actually, my right hand man Paul, one of my right hand guys, Paul and Jay, they make the granola. I've showed them how I like to have it made, and they make it 99% of the time. One of them will make it, but it's just something different, and it's got a little bit different taste. I mean, I could eat it all day, but it's got banana chips, craisins, shredded coconut, oats.
What do you use to keep everything together?
Yeah.
Excuse me for eating.
Yeah. No. A little bit of brown sugar or honey, and then just cook that concoction all together on top of the stove, and then toss it in with the. We may have almonds in there. Just try to give somebody something a little healthier to eat instead of the store-bought same old. I mean, there's no comparison to flavor from when you make something from scratch and you buy it already made.
I mean, I just as you're listening, obviously people can hear me chewing, and that was probably rude of me to do. But I had to taste it. I'm a big fan of granola, and that was really wonderful. I'd like to. Can I take that home with me?
You can take it home. Yes, we have plenty of. Yeah, definitely.
Really, really good.
Yeah, we have a yogurt parfait that we use the granola, and then we use some non-fat Greek yogurt, and we top it off with more granola. It's a real nice dish, a healthy dish for breakfast.
You have a lot of people come into the restaurant who are extremely health conscious. For example, I do a lot of work for the hospital with our dietitians, and they're always talking about certain things that you should do.
Right.
Are people more health conscious, or do they go to your place to kind of escape the real world for a couple hours and treat themselves?
But
Both.
we recently in the last few years have been noticing more people that are vegan or gluten free. There's a lot of gluten free people out there, and I've tried to put different things on the menu. So I brought one of the dishes today is the savory oats. So it's oats with tomatoes and peppers and onions and spinach. It's got a little bit of lobster sauce in it and a little chili flake just to spice things up a little bit. And then you can get a couple eggs on it or egg whites on it if you want to keep it really healthy. But that's more of a real healty dish.
Is that an entree or is that a side?
No, that's an entree.
Okay.
Yep, that's an entree. I came up with it. I kind of based it off of shrimp and grits. If you go to Charleston, South Carolina, in that area, that's a huge, huge thing, and I just love food. So
yeah,
I tried the shrimp and grits. Grits in the north don't go over as well as they do in the south. So I thought, well, what if I just change it to the oats? We have them every day. We have oatmeal. So I'm going to try something new. And I just kind of threw the stuff together and figured if I liked it, hopefully more people will like it. So we used it as a special, and it got a little popular. So we put it on the menu just to have a nice healthy dish.
No, to
start with.
And so it's sauteed onions, peppers, baby spinach, mushrooms, and oatmeal, all with the lobster sauce, topped with 2 eggs.
Yep.
It sounds like the ideal omelet that I've always been looking for when I go out. I mean, that's exactly what this is.
Right.
What is your you're smiling, so I guess that's your goal, right? Is to do that.
That's it.
And I know you probably love everything on your menu, right? You'd have to,
right,
because you're putting your name behind it.
Soul in it, yeah.
What's your favorite item on the menu?
Favorite item on the menu?
We'll just talk for the breakfast for now.
For breakfast?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And if
this
it's not your
is
favorite,
not,
what's your favorite one to make also?
Okay, so my favorite one to eat, and my wife could tell you, when we go out to breakfast, what I'm going to order, 100% of the time, if they have it, biscuits and gravy.
No kidding.
Yeah, the worst thing for you, but
I was looking. You've got so many interesting things on this menu, and then I looked at the biscuits and gravy on the specialties,
right?
And I'm like, there's no way he's going to say that.
But
no
this is different. This
okay.
isn't your normal biscuits and gravy. So you would use, country pork sausage for the meat. I use chorizo sausage, spiced. It's spicier than, and I'm almost ruined myself. Like, I can't go out anywhere and get biscuits and gravy now because it's not with chorizo sausage, which is one of my favorite things in the world. So
that's great that you pointed that out because it's a very popular dish. Yours has that unique unique twist to it.
Right. We try to do something different. Like when you go to a restaurant, it's important for restaurants to have their own specialties so that when I'm done work, I want to go to this restaurant, or anyone, you want to go to different restaurants and try different things. I don't want to have wings at everybody's restaurant and have the same thing because one place always makes it better than another one does. But just to offer people different flavors. We get stuck in the same 12 dishes. Most people eat the same 12 things their whole life. They have
of course
this,
we do.
they do this.
Well, you get comfortable.
Yes.
And even from a preparation standpoint, but I find myself. So there's another host on OND. He's got a great show from 4 to 6. His name is Scott Cronick, and Scott and I have been friends for 20 something years. And every time we go out to eat, he goes, You're going to get that again? And then I go, he's ready to go for that. So, so I know what you're saying. Like you get into a habit of those 12 things, and you're dead on with that.
So I try to change it up a little so that when people come, it's not exactly what you get somewhere else, but it's something new. Maybe you like it. So, So the other, let's see, we're talking about what my favorite thing is to make now.
Yeah.
So, man. Well, we have new this spring. I finally decided. My wife lived in Belgium for a year or two, and I finally made it there 5 or 6 years ago. And I had the Belgian waffles, what a real Belgian waffle is. And I was like, there is no comparison to what we call Belgian waffles and what a real Belgian waffle is. There's two different kinds. There's the Liège waffle, which is a smaller, sweeter waffle. And then there's more of what we make, but not exactly, a little bit bigger than the other one. That's more of a savory style waffle. But the Liège waffle has pearl sugar, so when you bite into it, it's really sweet, but it also has these little nuggets of sugar, pearl sugar in them that just, you can't explain it, you just have to eat it and try one, and you'll know why they're called Belgian waffles.
Very good.
So,
what's the hours you serve breakfast? Because I have identical twins. They're home right before, they're headed to Nashville for spring break, but they're home for the weekend. And one of my twins love Belgian waffles. What's the hours? Because I can't get them out of bed too early.
7:30 to 11:30.
I got to get him out of bed early. Right? He's gonna say, Dad, I don't eat before noon, but I may have to wake him up out of bed and take him down there.
If they like Belgian waffles, they'll definitely be glad they woke up early.
It sounds good.
Or if they do get up a little bit late, we do for lunch. We have a chicken and waffle special with the Belgian waffle.
With the same kind of waffle.
Mm-hmm. So saying, there we go. Might be able to shake them up for that.
There you go.
So we've got about 4 minutes to go in the program, and Kay and Chef, I really appreciate your time. Haven't had a chance to talk too much about the lunch menu. You've brought 2 dishes in here, so we have a little time to talk about that exact. It looks like a quiche of some sort. Right.
So, actually, that's a breakfast item. But in this box, we brought a crab cake sandwich with the brioche roll. I make the crab cake from scratch. Obviously, going to school in Baltimore, if you don't know how to make a real crab cake, you don't even get out of the culinary school. So
they said no graduation for you.
Yeah, you failed. You can't make a crab cake the right way. And the other dish I brought was so it's my take on nachos. It's
is that what that is?
They're spinach. They're really good. Spinach tortilla. And I deep fry it and cut it to look like seaweed. So imagine seaweed, and then you have the cheese with crab, lots of crab in the cheese sauce, and you can dip it in, and you get a chip. And it's a little funkier looking because they're very long and wide, like wide noodles, like pappardelle noodles. But
does a dish like that kind of allow you to be an artist to a point, because it certainly
makes it fun.
It's certainly visual popping off the plate, right?
Yeah, it makes it fun, and we serve it in in a crab can with the picture of the crab on the can. So instead of taking the ring off, I just leave it there and then let people so it stands together and stands up and looks, because you eat with your eyes as much as you eat with your taste, and sense and smell and.
So we're gonna put some pictures up from these dishes on the Summers Point Business Association Facebook page. So if you're interested to see what these look like, or you just want to keep up with the happenings in Summers Point and the Summers Point area, certainly follow the Summers Point Business Association on Facebook.
And they're on our menu in the restaurant, and also if you'd like to try them, we're going to be in Bayfest on the 27th.
What are you doing there?
We're going to be serving the crab and corn chowder, and we're going to be serving the coral reef nachos, which is the tortilla chips with the crab cheese sauce.
So at Bayfest, you'll have a tent set up. What's the cost for someone like that to? Maybe you haven't said that yet.
No, on the menu, the crab nachos are $12.
We'll make smaller portions for walking
That's
around
a
at a
perfect day.
cheaper price so that
Yeah.
everybody can afford to have some, because the goal is for everyone to be able to taste.
Well, I check Protocol out at Bayfest.
And we'll be in the block party also on May 4th in Ocean City.
Beautiful. I probably could have done a whole 2 hours with both you guys, but listen, I really appreciate the time. The great team from Protocol, I thank you for allowing and giving both Kay and Rich the opportunity to come here and be on the show today.
It's our pleasure.
Yes, thank you very much.
So again, PortOcallHotel.com is the website. Please check out their dining section. Adeline, breakfast served 7:30 to 11:30, and that is Wednesday through Sunday. And they have lunch served from noon to 2, and they are open 7 days a week starting April 1st.
And in the season, we'll have a cabana open on the deck. And you can also eat in the restaurant or outside. So I know a lot of people like to eat outside during the summer. So we
Fantastic.
have both venues.
Fantastic experience right here in our backyard.